Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now at this point, literally every firearm I have is dirty. I've been busy. I'm not gonna say lazy by any means. I've just been busy and I haven't had a good chance to get into cleaning my firearms, but today is the day. Luckily, I have a few things going in my favor. More specifically today, some awesome products from the company Iunio. Now, this here is a comprehensive cleaning kit that's gonna take care of most of what I need to do. And I'm gonna say most of, because there are definitely some gaps in this kit that I know I will need to fill. Now, bottom line is I already have some of the things that I need in order to round out this kit, and I'm gonna actually try to see today if some of those things are sort of compatible with what's in here. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna go through this in detail, take a look at what this comes with in this kit, and I will also talk about the gaps and the things that I think this particular kit leaves a little bit lacking, but again, a lot of good cleaning equipment in here. But with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Iunio who did provide this for review. Now, I just want to take a quick minute and remind you guys that I currently have a gear giveaway. For any paying members on my Patreon, you will be eligible for the giveaway. So do me a favor, if you're interested in getting your hands on some awesome gear, take a look in the description box below where you can find all the relevant links. And so as we get into this kit, you can see this is how it comes in the package, all packaged up with the cleaning kit itself, but then this also comes with a cleaning mat and some supplies all wrapped inside. Now, I demonstrate this just to show you how it does come straight from the company. However, I already have been sort of getting into things with this particular kit. So you can see here again, having that cleaning mat. So this does come right with a cleaning mat, which is nice. So that's awesome. It's small, but this would be more than suitable for a handgun or basic tasks. These actually double very well for an oversized mouse pad. So if you want something that's just kind of cool and dual purpose and you want to use this as a mouse pad, you can also do that. That actually works out very well. I've done that in a number of occasions. And if you're into things like, say, for example, knife maintenance, folding knives, fixed blades, things with oil and, lubricants and whatnot, again, this will work out very well. So it's nice that this kit does come with this. The other thing that it comes with, and very, very useful, nice long handle cotton swabs. These are critical if you're into firearms maintenance to get into those tight little spots, the tough little nooks and crannies, and the fact that these have that long handle, I can tell you that's going to be awesome. And wooden handles as well. So the fact that you get 100 of these, that's great. This would definitely last you probably, I would say, between 10 and 15 cleanings. I typically go through maybe as many as 10 of these in a cleaning if I'm going to do a nice deep cleaning and really get all those little nooks and crannies. But the main part of the kit here coming in this nice box, pretty simple. And as we open it up here, you can see a fairly comprehensive kit. Now this is going to do pretty much what you need for both handguns, rifles, and shotguns, for the most part, again, with some gaps. So we'll go through all the components here, but you can see right away, you end up with your T-handles, and not just T-handles, but thread-on rods. You do need to be a little bit careful with these. I have had issues in the past, and I'm not saying about this brand, I'm just saying in general, because these can bend, so you gotta take your time. You need to go slow, and you kinda gotta take it easy. But what I'm seeing already is this here does swivel, and this does swivel very easily, and that's important, and I would say as far as critical, because as you're running your rod up and down the bore, you want your brush to spin with the barrel rifling. You don't want it to drag across the lands and grooves. You want it to kind of ride with them, and that really does aid in your ability to clean, but also protect the firearm as you're working on it. So the fact that these T-handles actually are, swiveling, that is nice. This one here is not quite as smooth, but it is definitely swiveling. This one here is very smooth, so hard to say what's going on here, and I'll actually say that's because this one's thicker. So we got a couple of different diameters here in the rods. You can see this is a thicker and just heavier gauge. That's going to be more important for your larger firearms. And then in total length here, let's take a quick look at what we've got. Total length from the inside of the handle all the way to the end here is exactly 30 inches. So it looks like you have about 30 full inches to work with, plus of course whatever you thread onto the end. So that's going to be nice, good long reach. Again, you just need to be a little bit careful, where I have seen these bend in the past, and if you're not careful and don't take your time, that is certainly a possibility. But everything snapping nicely into the case here. Everything does have its own little spot. So looks like that goes in there. This goes in here. Bada bing, bada boom. Pretty easy. So that's going to work out nicely. Next, some brushes. Now, I'm going to also say this is fantastic, very useful, but you need to be just a little bit careful. I always try to use the least aggressive method and then kind of go in reverse. So I'll always start with a soft nylon brush, try to do the bulk of all my cleaning with that brush, so I'm not causing any damage to any of my finishes and not wearing out parts prematurely by using aggressive methods. So the fact that this has the nylon brush, that's nice. This one here, steel. That's going to be pretty stiff. I'm only going to use this on really internal parts that are robust and rugged. You're not going to see them. I'm not worried about leaving scratches potentially, and things that have a lot of texture and deep sort of pits in them. And sometimes different parts of the firearm do have areas where it's sort of got deep, rugged, and just tough to get to areas. So I will use this definitely the least. But the other thing this comes with, which is nice, is sort of that in-between, having the brass bristles. Again, I would probably not use this on anything super sensitive, but I would definitely use this in some of those tough and stubborn locations. So the fact that it comes with all three of these, very nice. Again, sitting in here easily. That's fantastic. And that's a great addition and very useful part of this kit. The brushes are critical. Heading over to this side of the kit, now you have a ton of different things going on here. I'm going to rotate this to take a look at it in a little more detail. Like, for example, all of your brushes. So here you can see all of these brushes. These look to be phosphor bronze brushes, and ranging in gauge 17, 204, 22, 38, 45. Longer ones here being 22, 25, 270, 30, 410, 50, 54, 20, and 12. So for me, I'm definitely going to be using the 12 gauge shotgun. I'm definitely going to be using the 22. I'm probably going to need really something in between for 5.56 or 2.23, which I don't think will be too big of a problem, and I'll probably start with 22 and see how that sort of plays out. I definitely need to be careful. But right away, I'm like, 10 millimeter these days is becoming fairly popular for your handguns, but that does leave this particular kit a little bit lacking. Here's sort of your finishing patches, so these can get threaded on, and I use these for a final pass to really clean everything out and leave a nice shine at the end. So this is just sort of a final pass. Again, 17, 38, 45, 22, 30, 410, 50, 20, and 12 gauge. Cleaning patches, a little bundle. Now you're going to need a huge amount of these things. I go through probably 10 to 20 of these in a good thorough cleaning, sometimes doubling up, and it just depends on what you're trying to do. So this would last you maybe 2 or 3 cleanings if you're lucky. Definitely going to need some more of those. Looks like kind of like a final cleaning cloth, something that you can use to clean things up at the end of everything. And then as we get into this, here are some Jags. So these are plastic Jags, like a nylon. I don't think that necessarily matters. And in fact, I think I almost prefer the fact that these are nylon over brass, just because the plastic is not going to mar. It's not going to leave any sort of damage potential inside the bore of your barrel. But these are used pretty much to attach a patch. So take one of these patches, stick it on the end here, run it up and down the bore. So you have a number of different diameters here and different calibers. 17, 22, 625, 2730, 338, 35, 375, 40, 44, and 45. The numbering here seems a little bit funny. I'm wondering if maybe they're going for some combinations, things that, you know, you could use in multiple different calibers. But again, not too big of a deal, but nice that you have those. And I would go as far as to say, you're not necessarily going to need to commit to any one of these. Just find one that kind of works and just take your time and be careful. But moving forward, again, this is a different type of patch holder. So you have two diameters, one for the larger size rod and then one for the smaller size rod. You will have to use the components consistent with the size of the T-handle and diameter of the rod. The thread sizes are different on both of those. So you can see here some adapters. These adapters thread into the rods. So as you take a look here, this adapts onto the end and allows you to attach any of these other attachments, like say, for example, if I'm going to use this patch holder, that will go on there, threading on easily. Nice threads and seemingly locking nicely into place. So that's going to be for your long guns and even your handguns. So that's working out pretty well. And again, you're just going to have to pick the size accordingly. This here looks to be 50 caliber, which this here just appears to be some other type of a Jag. So again, maybe for more of your 50 caliber, 50 AE, something like that. And then these, they're calling muzzle guards. And I'm going to be honest, I really don't know how you apply these. But what I can say is definitely different diameters. So I wonder if the idea is you kind of put these in the end of the barrel while you're cleaning. And that just might be a guide. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, these do come with the kit. So just something worth noting. But again, fairly comprehensive. Now you end up with a couple of solution bottles. This can certainly be filled with, your favorite lubricants. This could be filled with some solvent. And you have two of these with a precision needle applicator, which is awesome. I can tell you that having a precision needle applicator when you're working on this stuff and to get your lubricants exactly where you need them and not over lubricating is key. So this is a nice feature. I love that this comes with this. You could certainly write on here with some Sharpie on the side to illustrate what it is, but I can tell you I use bottles like this all the time for different sort of things, and it does come into play and is very useful. So the fact that this does come in the kit is just a nice little bonus. And so at this point, it's time to get into those cleaning tasks. So let's roll up the sleeves and get to work. Where leveraging the nylon brush is definitely going to come into play. Anything inside the receiver, this is going to work out wonderfully. With the patches and your patch adapter. Now, I am going to leverage this particular methodology. I could certainly go with the Jag as well. So all right guys, there you have it, a look at this cleaning kit from the company Iunio. Now I started this entire video by saying this was a fairly comprehensive kit with some gaps. At this point, I think I've done a little bit more thinking about this in terms of what conversions get you between sort of a caliber and then also sort of your millimeters. So in other words, I was thinking there was going to be a gap with 6.5 Creedmoor. But when you really take a look at it, 6.5 Creedmoor is roughly 0.25, and there is a 0.25 brush in here. So the more and more I think about it, I think the gaps are less and less, especially if you can make some concessions, especially if you can get a brush that's very close, maybe a slightly smaller diameter in a perfect world, not really greater. I don't want to go too big on my brush and potentially scour and cause damage, but a slightly smaller brush could probably do most of what you need for some of the off caliber or off sort of millimeter measurements that you may need for your particular firearm. But I can say definitely effective. Everything in this kit, very effective. All the little sort of tools and all the little supplies that you're gonna need to get yourself started. So if you're an expert, you probably have a lot of this stuff, but bottom line is this. If you're getting started in firearms are very expensive to get started. You need all kinds of stuff. You need all your PPE, you need all your ammo, your carry solutions, all your storage. And bottom line is you have to clean your firearms. So to have something that's this comprehensive and can really get you started for very reasonable money, and you have pretty much everything you're gonna need to work for a while. Even if you are an expert, having some of these extra things might be nice. So the Iunio kit is very, very well done. I do have to say, I like this quite a bit. And so again, a look at the Iunio gun cleaning kit. Thank you very much to the people at Iunio who did provide this for review. And for the rest of you, if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more on my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking excursions, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it. That's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.